6:15 in the morning. August 6, 1945. In a city of over 300,000 people, alarm clocks are ringing, kettles are boiling, and nobody knows they are living through the last normal hour their world will ever have. Welcome back to Broken World. If you've ever wondered what it actually felt like to be an ordinary person on the edge of history, minutes before everything changed forever, stay with me until the end, because this story will change how you see an ordinary morning ever again. Hiroshima was not a battlefield. It was a living, breathing city. Streetcars rattled through intersections. Vendors set up fruit stalls near the river. Schoolchildren buttoned their uniforms and grumbled about homework. Soldiers walked past bakeries that smelled like fresh bread. To everyone there, August 6th looked exactly like August 5th. That's what makes this story so haunting. Nothing warned them. There had been air raid sirens before, sure. But so many false alarms had gone off over the previous weeks that people had grown numb to them. Fatigue does strange things to fear. When the siren rang that morning and then fell silent again, many residents simply exhaled, assumed it was another passing patrol plane, and went back to their tea, their sewing, their morning chores. That single moment of relief, that quiet sigh of, "It's nothing," is one of the cruelest ironies in modern history. Let's pause here for a second, because I want you to really sit with this. Somewhere in that city, a mother was tying her daughter's shoes for school. A shop owner was counting coins for the day's first customer. A young man was walking to work, thinking about lunch, about a letter he hadn't finished writing, about absolutely nothing important. These weren't statistics. These were people whose entire universe was about to be measured in seconds. At 8:15 in the morning, a single aircraft, flying quietly at high altitude, released its payload. 43 seconds later, the world's first wartime atomic bomb detonated above the city. In that instant, the temperature at the epicenter soared hotter than the surface of the sun. A blinding flash. A shockwave that flattened buildings for miles. And then, silence, followed by chaos that no one could have prepared for, because nothing like this had ever happened to human beings before. Now here's the part most people never talk about, and it's the part that makes this story so important to understand. The bomb itself lasted only a fraction of a second. But the last morning, the hours before it, represents something bigger than the tragedy itself. It represents how thin the line is between normal life and history-altering catastrophe. One quiet Monday. One misunderstood siren. One ordinary decision to stay inside a little longer, or step outside a little earlier. Small choices that, in hindsight, became the difference between survival and something far worse. This is why the story of the last morning haunts historians, survivors, and storytellers even today. It isn't just about the weapon. It's about human innocence colliding with irreversible history. It reminds us that catastrophe rarely announces itself with drama. Sometimes it just wears the disguise of an ordinary Tuesday, or in this case, an ordinary Monday morning with sunlight, breakfast, and birds chirping near the river. And that's the deeper lesson buried inside this story. We often imagine history-changing moments as loud, cinematic, obvious. But real history, the kind that reshapes nations and generations, often creeps in quietly, wrapped inside routine. Hiroshima's last morning teaches us to never take an ordinary day for granted, because we truly never know which sunrise might be someone's last completely normal one. If this story moved you, if it made you pause and think about how fragile normal life really is, that's exactly the kind of storytelling we do here on Broken World. We dig into the human side of history, not just dates and facts, but real emotion, real people, real stakes. So here's what I want you to do. Drop a comment below and tell me, if you had lived in Hiroshima that morning, What do you think you would have been doing in those final ordinary minutes? Hit like if this story hit you emotionally, and subscribe to Broken World if you want more raw, powerful, human stories from history that you won't find anywhere else. Because sometimes, understanding the past is the only way to truly appreciate the present.